Now we're going to be working backwards. So given the information, given the vertical asymptotes and the holes and things like that, we're going to come up with the equation. So it's really important that you understand the other way first, that you understand how we can get vertical asymptotes and all these things from the equation so that it's easier to work backwards. The first one, we want to write an equation with a vertical asymptote at x equals -2, a hole at 3, and a horizontal asymptote at 0. So a vertical asymptote at x equals -2, the factor that gives us that value is going to be x plus 2, and vertical asymptotes are in the denominator. A hole at x equals 3, so the factor that goes with x equals 3 is x minus 3. Holes also come from the denominator, but remember it's the factors that canceled with the numerator, which means we also need an x minus 3 in the numerator. And a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. So it's always easiest to do your horizontal asymptote last, but now that we're doing it, we have a horizontal asymptote at 0, which means the numerator degree has to be less than the denominator degree. Right now the numerator power is a 1, and the denominator, if we were to FOIL everything, we would get an x squared, so we have 2. So the numerator is already less than the denominator, so we can leave this as our final answer. There's multiple other equations that we could have come up with that would have satisfied these conditions, like we could have added an x here and an x here, or something like that, but what we came up with is probably the easiest. Number 2, write an equation with the same information but a horizontal asymptote at y equals 4. So we have our vertical asymptote at -2, a hole at 3, and a horizontal asymptote at y equals 4. Because it's not 0 or does not exist, the powers have to be equal to each other. Right now the denominator power is a 2, the numerator power is a 1, so we need another x in the numerator to be multiplied. So we can just put an x like that, or we could have done just a random factor that would have FOILed out to give us x squared. So now that the powers are the same, we have an x squared over an x squared. We need to divide the coefficients to get 4. So I would probably just add a 4 up top to the numerator. So when you distribute that first term, you're going to get a 4x squared over a 1x squared, so 4 divided by 1 is 4. Or you could have done an 8 and 2, 8 divided by 2 is 4, or something like that. But I think this would be the easiest.